Hi, everybody. I can see you all tuning in there. One of my favorite human beings in the whole entire wide world, and one of the greatest mind power experts in the world is my dear friend, Mr. Robin Banks.
Listen without an agenda. Just listen like, okay, what do I need to hear? Not about my business or about just what does my soul need me to do? And really listen without agenda.
How to harness your mind and really keep yourself in a good mind state to get through this in the most positive way. Hi, everybody. I can see you all tuning in there. As most of you know, every day for half an hour to an hour, I'm bringing you something either about love, about health and wellness, about spirituality or connection, greater connection, wealth or mindset and happiness, and how we can thrive instead of just survive, because that should be the goal, that we all thrive, that we take these challenges and turn them into opportunities. And we create support systems around ourselves to move through these challenges with greater ease. And challenges happen, they're inevitable, so how do we do that? And one of my favorite human beings in the whole entire wide world, and one of the greatest mind power experts in the world is my dear friend, Mr. Robin Banks. And he has agreed to join us today so that he can share some tips and tricks on what he feels is going on, first of all, from a mind consciousness perspective, but then also how to harness your mind and really keep yourself in a good mind state to get through this in the most positive way. So, Robs, hi.
I'm wondering if you can still hear me because I put my AirPods back in.
No, I can still hear you now.
Yay. Because I couldn't hear you properly. Hello, Susana, and hello to all the listeners, wherever you may be, during these interesting times.
Very, very interesting times, Banksy. I hear that you did a webinar with your mentor last night, John Kehoe. How did that go?
It was absolutely outstanding. We had a full room. We had 1,068 people online. I don't know how that happened because we're only allowed to have 1,000. Maybe GoToWebinar was a bit generous to me. I pay them enough money. I'm glad they were. But we had quite a lot of people online, and John was truly remarkable in helping people to navigate the crisis, because let's first of all start and state it what it is. We titled the webinar "Navigating the Crisis," and my partner said, "Ooh, why are you using the word crisis?" Well, let's call it what it is. We're in crisis. The world is in crisis, and I'm in a crisis. You're in a crisis. And while it might not be the end of the world, it might not be the end of the world, it's certainly, let me assure all of us, this is not the end of the world, guys. But I do believe it's the end of the world as we know it. And change can either be a force to be feared, or it can be an opportunity to be seized. And it really is about your mindset. It really is about your perspective. It's about the way you look at it. So if I can just start off, Susana, for a moment, just speaking a little bit about crisis.
Yes, absolutely, thanks. Because I totally agree with everything that you're saying. And that's why I knew you were the right person to bring on today to chat to our audience, because I think that a lot of people are feeling in crisis and they are being gripped by fear. And it's how do we now navigate our way through that?
Exactly. Navigating your way through the crisis. So the first thing to do is to acknowledge I'm in crisis. Okay. That's what's happening. The world is in crisis. So let's call it what it is. We are facing a crisis. And actually, let's look back at our personal lives. Have you been in crisis before? I'm very sure, I'm 100% confident that pretty much everybody on the line will go, yes, of course I've been in crisis before. Oh, and did you get through the crisis? Well, if you're online, yes. So I've been in crisis before. I've been in financial crisis personally. There were times I struggled to pay the bills. I've had health crisis before. I've had a relationship crisis before. I know you've had an intense health crisis. So you've been in intense crisis before. So we've all been in crisis. And so the first thing to do is acknowledge that we're in crisis. The second thing is to say, I've been in crisis before and I've always gotten through the crisis. This is good to know. So remind yourself that no matter how tough things are, when you look at your history, you've always found a way through. And this is yet another crisis, and we will find our way through. And so what we want to ensure that we do is never let a good crisis go to waste, Susana.
Mm-hmm.
Never let a good crisis go to waste. What do we mean by that? We can either go into this crisis and absolutely become overwhelmed by what's happening in the world and feed out, because the mind is a great storyteller. So we can now feed our mind the story of just how bad things are. How am I going to manage financially? I mean, my business has completely been turned upside down on its head. I run seminars for hundreds, thousands of people at a time. And right now, that's not a good idea. And I called the end to my business model before Cyril Ramaphosa even said no more than 100 people. I met with my team and I said, we can't do this. I literally had a seminar the night before with about 1,000 people, and people, no matter how much I said to them, don't touch me, they kept hugging me, and then the next person hugs me. And I just said to them, we will be responsible for spreading this virus quicker than most people in this country. So we actually have to stop the current model. And it is a crisis for my business. And it's an opportunity as well. So when one door closes, 5 others open. And so for me, what I'm working on is how do I navigate my way through the crisis? And what do I mean by never let a good crisis go to waste? How can I ensure that I emerge out of this crisis better than I went in? So that the Robin Banks who goes into lockdown, whether it's for 3 weeks or 2 months, because there is a very strong possibility the lockdown will be extended. Now, we can either see that as a prison sentence, or we can see it as an opportunity for transformation. In fact, I'm busy preparing for another presentation, and I'm going to show you my quote here, Susana. And I love this quote. It's by a man called Viktor Frankl. Can I flip my camera around? Yes, I can. Geez, I'm learning so much. So how's this quote?
Not very centered, Banks.
It's not very centered. It is not centered. And now?
Pull it away a little bit so we can see more. Pull your phone. Yeah, there we go. That's better.
So I love this. It's a quote by Viktor Frankl, who was in the Jewish concentration camps. And now imagine his crisis. He was in the Jewish concentration camps, and chances of death were more like 90%, whereas our chances of death are 5%. So just let's put that into perspective. How are these words? When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, that last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given circumstance, to choose one's own way. And I love that. I love the thought that when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So that's the theory. What does it look like in practice? How do I change myself? So first of all, what I'd highly recommend and encourage people to do, become your own best friend. Mm. What do I mean by that? We can be so critical and judgmental of ourselves, especially when we're going through hardship. This is the time that you need to be good to yourself. The first thing I want to encourage people to do, take time to be still and listen. I know that you, as a good friend of mine, was asking me about a week or 10 days ago, Banks, are you okay? Where are you? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And all my friends were like, where is he? He's so quiet. What are you doing? And all my followers were like, could you say something? Could you share a video with us? What are you thinking? And to be completely honest with you, Susana, I was in retreat because I was going within and trying to figure out, well, whoa. Let me slow down the world. And let me find out what's happening for me. Let me find out what's happening in my inner world. And I had so many people saying, we got to get online, we got to do this, we got to sell this, we got to make this happen. And I felt like everybody went into what I call the human doing mode. Let's be human doings, and let's be doing, got to doing this, doing that, doing. And I'm like, guys, we are human beings. We are not human doings. So why don't we take the time to listen? What is your spirit and your soul calling you to do right now? What is the highest form of personal transformation you can engage in so you do emerge out of this crisis greater than you went in? And how funny is this, Susana? The night before we went into lockdown, and I'm not lost, there are no coincidences. And literally the day I was bombarded by so many people asking me, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I literally was ignoring my phone and going, I don't know yet. I don't know. Right now I'm being still because I want to listen for guidance. How fascinating. I'm lying in bed and it's about 11:30 at night. My lady Nadia, when she falls asleep, there's a golden rule. Do not wake Nadia up in the first 30, 40 minutes of her sleep, because if she wakes up, that's it. She doesn't sleep for the rest of the night. So I know this golden rule that when my baby's falling asleep, I'm very, very sensitive about making sure that give her that first 40 minutes. Bloody hell, this praying mantis comes flying into the room. Actually, I didn't know it was a praying mantis. So you forget I said that. I hear this insect flying into the room and landing on the carpet. Poof, and I'm like, I had no idea what it is. I'm like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, shit. Like, do I get up and switch on the light? And I'm like, no, she's sleeping. Don't wake her up. Don't wake her up. I'm like, okay, just leave. So I'm like, I'm sure it'll fly out. It's fine. It's fine. I had the doors open because it was quite a hot day. And blow me down, like 2 minutes later, this bloody thing lands on my pillow right next to my face. Like, poof. Got such a fright. I just jumped out of bed. I was like, ah, what was that? What was that? And of course, woke Nadia up. Oh, she was not happy. I didn't just wake her up. I startled her out of her sleep.
Oh my goodness.
I switched on the light. I'm like, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, there's something in the room. There's something in the room. I don't know what it is. And I found a praying mantis lying there on my pillow. And so I picked up the praying mantis and I released it. And, well, tried to go back to sleep with my baby in a state of shock, shame. And then I looked up the meaning of praying mantis. What is the symbolism of praying mantis? Calmness, stillness, intuition. There was another word, but those are the three ones, the three important ones. Calmness, stillness, intuition, obviously prayer, going within. And I just thought, now, how amazing. I'm actually being guided by spirit that this is not a time for action. This is a time for slowing down. And I posted a video on my Facebook page 2 days ago, Robin Banks Live, if you guys want to see it. And I actually mentioned the praying mantis story. How weird is this? I don't want to exaggerate. So let me say that I had about 60 people come back and saying, oh my gosh, I had an experience with the praying mantis as well. And oh yeah, one landed on my head and I found one in the dog's bowl. And actually, as I'm watching your video, there's a praying mantis. And coincidence? No, I think we are being guided if we really listen. Because we can either go into fear or we can take the time to really slow down and listen and say, what are the signs telling us? There was a great... what I love about the world, and particularly South Africa, is we have a great way of making fun of challenging situations, which is one of the gifts that we have. And it's something we should embrace. And as soon as Cyril Ramaphosa mentioned the lockdown, I'm sure you saw this one, Susana, doing the rounds. And it said, man, I feel like Mother Nature's just sent all of us to our rooms to go and think about what we've been doing.
I saw that and I agreed with it 100%.
I love it. I love it because let's face it, if we continue, which is a risk, because there's a very good chance that as human beings, we're going to go into this lockdown, bear with it for however long, 2 months, 6 months, however long before they find a vaccine. And then we're going to go, whew, oh, well, a few people died. That was tough, but whew, I made it. Back to suffering, back to life as normal, back to abusing the planet, back to the old way, so that we can really have a major crisis in 20 years and have global warming destroy all of us.
You know what's interesting? Or we could listen. You know what's so interesting for me, Banks, is that, I mean, as you know, 6 years ago, I was physically stopped in my tracks because I wasn't paying attention. And I feel like that's what's happening on a global level at the moment, that the universe has kind of gone, okay, I've been sending you hints, I've been sending you messages, and you haven't been paying attention. So here's something to make you stop in your tracks, go inward, like you said, Robs, go inward, and then take action in the correct way. So it's not about just doing and just taking action, but taking action in the correct way, being mindful of what are the actual right ways of conducting ourselves as human beings, not human doings, but human beings. Right. Another thing that I'm loving, Banks, is that although there is this social distancing, people seem more connected than ever before. And I saw a beautiful post, which I think you will love, that said, never in the history of time as human beings has there been such a global show of love and compassion as there is now, because I mean, I'm paraphrasing the sense that I got from it, as there is now, because people are taking responsibility for themselves. They're staying home, not just to protect themselves, but to protect the ones who cannot protect themselves.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That is a great show of love. I actually get goosebumps when I say that, because it's happening all over the world, and suddenly we are so connected, because we all have the same fears, we all have the same concerns, and we all have the same hopes. So I was speaking to Leisha, both of our spiritual coach, Leisha, and I was saying I felt guilty the other day because I've actually got this immense sense of peace and well-being at the moment. And I will watch the news or hear something and then I'll cry because I feel the pain. But the reality is my sense is that this is so good for the entire planet. You know, that is my feeling. And she said, oh no, I'm feeling it as well. And Absolutely. Most light workers are feeling it because they can feel that this is the way, this is the right way, we're moving in the right direction. So Robs, you were saying, let's hope that people don't fall back into old patterns and old ways again, because it's so easy and people do it so easily. What are some of the tips or tools or knowledge that you can share to try and help people to stay in this new way of being?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, the first thing is, am I going to go back to the old way?
Yeah.
And I must be honest with you, that's because I can't control what humanity does. And that's a really good question for each of us to ask ourselves. What is the way of being that I have been, what is my human way of being, my human doingness that I need to reevaluate? How can I up my game? Because that's the only way we're going to make the change is, you know, I do think there will be changes on a grand scale. You know, one of my biggest concerns was the townships, and there now are cases in Khayelitsha and there are cases in Alexandra. And my biggest fear was just like, wow, if this gets into the townships, those people unfortunately live on top of each other and it's just going to spread like wildfire. And with our HIV status and stuff like that, and, you know, it's going to be a major concern. And I actually was waking up in the middle of the night feeling anxious for my country.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget what John said to me, because I spoke to John and I said to him, and he says, well, it's going to happen. And I was like, ooh. He says, it's very likely, and it's going to happen, and things are going to get worse before they get better. Stay with me.
Thanks. I want to stay with you, but it is 1 minute to 11. Are you pressed for time?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay, great. So I have made this announcement before. I looked up on the world clock, and in many different countries, people are going outside at 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night and whooping and sharing love for all the workers that are keeping us going during this challenging time. But I looked up on the world clock, and at 11 o'clock in South Africa, which is 9 p.m. Eastern time, is the time that the most countries in the whole world are awake at the same time. So I'm going to run outside and I'm going to howl 3 times, Banks, and I will be back in just a second, because I'm trying to see if...
Okay, well, why don't we all join you? Let's join you.
Howl at the same time. So, yeah, I suppose I can take this off that. Okay. We're going outside and we're going to...
It's unique, guys. You're not going to find another one like this. You're not going to... Oh, tough situation you find yourself. You just wanted to share that.
Oh! 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 Thank you, thank you, thank you! Okay, we're going back inside.
Okay.
I'm doing it every day this week. Because I know there's lots of people doing it at different times, but I thought, imagine, Banks, if we've got the whole world doing it at the same time, how cool would that be?
It would be super cool. We do it at 7 o'clock here in my area, so every night at 7 o'clock we do it here.
You're in Johannesburg, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in Joburg.
Yeah.
So the regional area.
It's 8 o'clock. So different cities have different things. So I'm doing it twice a day. I'm doing it at 11 o'clock in the morning and then 8 o'clock at night.
Please don't share your personal stories with us. I'm joking. So
rude. Okay, back to what John said to you. He was saying that unfortunately it is going to happen, and like you, Banks, that's been my biggest concern. You know, I have a community center in Gugulethu that I love. I love my community there, and I've been, how am I going to help them through this? And I've been, that's one of my biggest sort of fears.
Yes, how. First of all, it's very likely to happen. And we are going to go through, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So expect that. It might not be true. I'm not 100% saying that's the case, but more than likely that's going to be the case. So expect that. Prepare for it. And what can I do? Well, being anxious about it, which I have been, is not helping.
No.
In fact, my anxiety is adding to the problem. So what can I do? Well, the first thing you can do, let me see if I can find the first thing you can do, because the first thing you can do is so profound, Susana, and I've got it here for you. I don't know if you saw, there was another video doing the rounds, and it's a gorgeous video about this little girl. And I just love her message. And I'm going to put it on here for you guys to see. I'm sure you'll be able to see it. And here's what you can do. Can you see my screen, Susana?
Kind of, Banksy. Go a little bit out.
Better?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, here's what you can do. Let me just first press play. There we go. What do you want me to do?
Write about yourself. Write about yourself. I'll do this one, so let me do that. You try! Write about yourself. Go die!
Did you get that?
Not really. She looked very cute, and we heard some mumbling, but
her dad is saying to her.
But that was it.
But her dad she's busy putting her seatbelt on, and she's sitting in a little child seat, and her dad saying, "Can I help you, Rose?" No, thank you. And she's like, it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Worry about yourself. And so he says, well, what should I do? Worry about yourself. Go drive. Worry about yourself. You drive. And I love the message. You cannot help other people until you first help yourself. Make sure that your state and that the place you're coming from, that you first you feed the well before you can feed others. Make sure that you are managing your anxiety. How do I manage my anxiety? Well, first of all, I spoke to a client yesterday and 2 days ago, and I was saying, how are you doing, Smita? And she says, oh, Robin, I'm finding it so challenging. I said, and she says, you know, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing I do is I start reading the news, and then we have our global meeting at 6 o'clock with the company, and, you know, we look at where the business is at, and of course the business is completely closed down, and then when I'm finished with that, I catch up on the news again, and then I said, so how many times a day are you checking in on the news? Oh, at least 5 or 6 times. And I said, well, don't.
Yeah.
She says, what? I said, don't. I said, what are the chances that when you check in on the news, you're going to get a positive, uplifting message at this point? And she said, 0. I said, so you are consciously tuning into negative messages 6 times a day, and you're wondering why you're not coping. What I recommend you do, for those of you who are listening, it's good to be informed, but as they say in The Secret, you don't want to be inundated. You want to be informed, but you don't want to be inundated. So I check in on the news maximum once a day for maximum 1 hour, which is still a lot. Sometimes I check in every second day. Like yesterday, I missed most of what happened in the world yesterday because my focus was on giving. My focus was on helping and supporting as many people as I possibly can to make the transition. What does that do? It fills the well with a sense of purpose. It gives you a sense of meaning. It gives you a sense of contribution. Whereas if your focus is on the media, it gives you a sense of apathy, helplessness, hopelessness, because I can't control what's happening in New York City right now.
Yeah.
I can't control what's happening in Detroit. I know what's happening. I'm very aware that the States they are in serious trouble. Will they get out of it? Yes. Guaranteed. When? I don't know. But I guarantee you they will. Will people die? Unfortunately, yes. Can I control that? No.
Yeah.
How do I feel about death? Look, that's another conversation. I think it's a transition. That's not something I wish for anybody. I think we actually choose our times. And so for me, the first thing is worry about yourself. The second thing, a couple of points I want to give you because I'm aware of our time. So let me just, if I can just go through a couple of things. Sharpen your focus. Be very conscious of what you focus on, because what you focus on is what you experience and what you feel. So I'm very conscious about where I'm focusing my mind at the moment. The second thing I want to say to people, find balance between relaxation and creativity. So some people are relaxing too much and they're spending their time vegging on Netflix. And there's this funny one that was doing the rounds as well, that, can you believe my fridge said to me, what the bloody hell do you want now? Some of us are binging on TV and vegging like couch potatoes and eating too much. Is there time and a place for that? Absolutely. Get some rest, sleep. I spent the first day of lockdown, I slept most of the day. I didn't even look at my phone. I just slept because my body was tired. It was overwhelmed. So find the balance between relaxation, sleeping, resting, and then working and being, because the other people go to the other extreme where they're so panicked and so freaked out, they're just being human doings and just like, I've got to do something, got to do. No. First, be still, take the message from Praying Mantis, slow down, listen, and then you'll start getting the ideas, and you'll listen without an agenda. Just listen like, okay, what do I need to hear? Not about my business or about just what does my soul need me to do? and really listen without agenda. And then the next step, worry about yourself. We've covered that. Look at yourself first. And then the last 3 points I want to make to people, and it's obviously not working when I do my thing, so I'm not going to do it for you. Just flipping my camera around. Take care of the 3 most important things in your life. And then I'm done, I promise.
No, you've got time, Banks. You don't need to stress about it. I have told
Susana, you know me. You never say that to me.
I will give you
until 4 o'clock.
We need to finish at 11:30, Banks. That's when we need to finish. So we're okay.
Okay. So what are the 3 things you need to take care of? Your body, your mind, and your soul. My body, my mind, and my soul. I've got an affirmation which you helped me create on my Living with Purpose CD, and it's one of my favorite affirmations at the moment. In fact, I've got a few from Living with Purpose, but the one I'm referring to right now. My body, mind, and heart are still. My soul's purpose I fulfill. My body, mind, and heart are still. My soul's purpose I fulfill. I'm wanting to make sure that I do my soul's job. My soul's agenda is more important than my mind's agenda. And what is my soul wanting me to do? And to hear that, you have to listen. You can't, just think it up. You have to really listen deeply. What is my soul asking of me? So take care of my body, mind, and heart. Make sure they are still. And so how do you look after your body? Well, are you exercising? Oh, Robin, I can't exercise. I live in an apartment. Well, you can do push-ups, you can do sit-ups, you can run on one spot. Joy, my good friend, you know him, Blade Berger, has a 21-day challenge. You can go to my website, robinbanks.co.za. It's completely free. We're giving away a 21-day challenge where Blade will take you through exercises, which is quite intense. You can do it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, depending on how fit you are. And the whole idea is to get fitter as you go through the program. And he'll literally teach you how to do exercises at home with nothing. So if you have nothing, you don't have weights, you've got nothing. I'm very blessed. I've got a gym. I'm working out 35 minutes a day. I haven't been this fit and this toned in years because I'm working out 35 minutes a day.
I am very jealous of your treadmill. Like, very jealous of your treadmill. I tried to hire, and there are none left to hire in Cape Town. Yeah. So, yeah, you are very blessed. But you're right, there's even apps that you can download that have 7-minute workouts on. But I know Blake, he is phenomenal. So I really, everybody that's listening, I highly recommend. Robin, will you give us a link to that after this?
Yeah, it's robinbanks.co.za. It's on my homepage.
Oh, it's on your
banks.co.za. Okay. Yeah. So, but here's the point. Even if you don't do blades, I mean, this is not a sale. This is a suggestion. Make sure that you're taking care of your body. Go to YouTube. Google YouTube with Adrian. Google YouTube with Tim. Those are 2 of my favorite yoga with Tim and yoga with Adrian. Those are 2 of my favorite guys that you can do yoga for free in your bedroom. All you need is a floor. And if you have a yoga mat, great. If you don't have a yoga mat, put your towel out. But make sure that you're taking care of your body, because when your body is at peak optimum, I like that. When your body is at peak optimism. Very good point there, Susana. Peak optimism.
I like it.
When your body is at peak optimism, that's a good Freudian slip. When your body's at optimum, it is at its ultimate optimism. I just created a quote. Please write that down. But when your body is vibrating with vibrant health and vitality, your mind is sharper. I feel more upright. I'm honestly feel fitter than I've felt in years. And I mean, I'm generally fit, but I've never been this fit because, well, I'm in lockdown. I've got 35 minutes. I'm blessed. I've got a gym. I'm a lucky guy. But even if I didn't have a gym, there's lots of other stuff you can do. So and what's your diet? What's your eating? So here's what I've had to do, because my fridge was one of those fridges going, what the bloody hell do you want now? I was like, because I just found myself eating and snacking, and we tend to, like, when you don't have anything. So I've had to discipline myself. And I've gone, right, you've eaten now, it's 8:30, you can't even have a snack till 11, 2.5 hours. I'm like, oh. And then at 9:15, I find myself going to the fridge. I'm like, no.
No,
11 o'clock.
Banksy.
No, Banksy. And I'm like, oh, 11 o'clock. And then when 11 o'clock comes, I'll have a little snack. I'm like, right, you can't have anything to eat until 2 o'clock. Oh, 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, nothing to eat till 2 o'clock. And that little bit of discipline, you'll be amazed what it actually does for your own sense of inner power, inner strength, inner control. It gives you a sense of personal mastery over yourself, that actually I'm controlling this system. So number one, take care of your body. Number two, your mind.
Yeah.
Your thoughts will make you or they will break you. And this crisis is either going to make or break you. And here's the greatest part. As that quote by Viktor Frankl says, it is entirely up to you.
Mm.
No, Robin, it's not entirely up to me. There's this virus out there, and this virus, I'm not saying that the virus is not affecting us.
Mm.
I am saying how you respond to it is entirely up to you. And so taking control of your mind, which is obviously what my main passion is, teaching people mind power, taking control of your mind is crucial at this time. What thoughts are you thinking when you wake up in the morning? Are you focusing on the news first thing in the morning? Are you focusing on, oh shit, this crisis is going to break me? Because you see, Susana, the mind is a storyteller.
Mm.
And each and every one of us has our, you know this, John Keogh teaches this. You've been at the quantum mind power course.
I have indeed.
And each and every one of us have our stories that we tell ourselves. Some of our stories are, I'll never find the right relationship. Relationships are so hard, and I'm just never going to find the right partner. And of course, because you believe you're never going to find the right partner, so be it. Ask and you shall receive is a law of the universe. Or your mind will say to you, oh, this crisis, my business is stuffed. Let me tell you the truth, guys. For the first week, I was like, oh, shit. My overheads are high. And my business didn't slow down. It came to a grinding halt. Like, boom. My expenses didn't. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm now coming up with ideas about how I'm going to deal with it. It's still not there. I'm still in crisis. I am in crisis as I'm sitting here right now. This is crisis. But how you manage the crisis, because at the end of the month, I'm still going to have to pay the bills again like I did yesterday. And I've got a few ideas, which I think will be a win-win situation for everybody. Because, by the way, that's one of the moral codes I believe all of us should have. Always enter into win-win partnerships. Because if you win and I win, everybody wins. If it's win-lose, trust me, you'll lose in the end. So what is the story you're telling yourself? So here's a story I recommend we all tell ourselves. Get your mind to tell you the story every night and every morning and night as you go to bed. I'm going to emerge out of this crisis better than I went into it.
Yeah.
I'm going to emerge from this crisis empowered. I'm going to emerge from this crisis stronger, more resilient. Now, even if you're going, what the hell are you talking about? Just tell your mind the story. Because the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Now, does this mean you're not going to have feelings? Let's talk about feelings for a moment. You're going to feel fear. Know it. What does Tony Robbins, do you know what Tony Robbins says fear does? Come on, Bubana, do you know? What does fear do?
What does fear do?
All fear does is tell you to get prepared. Get ready. Gird your loins. Get ready. Put on your big boy pants, your big girl panties. It's time to grow up. There's a challenge in the world right now. We got to step up. And am I going to feel fear in the next few weeks? I can pretty much guarantee it.
Absolutely. We've spoken about the fact, in fact, I think we did it in Sustaining the Magic, when we were creating Sustaining the Magic, that bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is feeling the fear and doing the right thing anyway. And that is so important for people to understand right now, because we're all going to have moments of fear. But do you think that the great men and women in history did not feel fear when they were going into these battles? And I say that literally and figuratively, they felt the fear, but they went into these battles because they were being brave. They felt it and they did the right thing anyway.
I love that.
So important.
I'm just making a note of that because I think that's such a great point. You're such a wise person. Bravery is not the absence of fear. I love that reminder. Thank you, Susana. And that, you know, and also what you're saying is we all going to feel vulnerable at times. I'm going to feel vulnerable. You're going to feel vulnerable. Steve's going to feel vulnerable. Nadia's going to feel vulnerable. Yvette, my business manager, felt vulnerable. Let's be there for each other when you're feeling vulnerable. And just go, oh, okay, well, today I'm feeling, and I literally 2 days ago, I said to Nadia, she says, baby, you okay? I said, I'm feeling a bit challenged today. And she's like, why? I said, I'm concerned about the business. And she went, yeah, I hear you. She says, you know you're going to get through this, right? I said, yeah, I know. I said, just right now I'm feeling very anxious. And she just put her hand on me and she just said, it's okay.
Yeah.
You can do that for yourself as well. Literally, I'd recommend you practice it. You put your hand on your heart and you're feeling tender and you go, it's okay, my brother. It's okay, my boy. I'm here for you. I got you. You're going to be fine. Even if you're feeling the anxiety. And the thing is to feel the fear, to feel the anxiety, but not to become it.
Yeah.
To feel it and go, oh, I'm feeling fear. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling powerless. Oh, and then you observe it. When you become it, it's got you. Because then what happens is it sucks you in and you go, oh, shit, oh my God. You know, and you become like, I'm a little bit of a Chicken Little, by the way. Oh, the world's coming to an end. Oh, the world's falling down. The world's coming to an end. That was my initial reaction. Like, holy shit, oh my God, this is terrible, terrible.
I feel it. That's why I kept checking in with you. I was like, thanks. You okay?
Yeah. But here's the point is I know this about myself. I know thyself, know your patterns. And so when I see it coming up, I'm like, oh gosh, look at that. He's contracted. He's gone into fear. And then what I do is I do what I need to do to soothe myself. I switch off from everybody else. I switch off from the world. And I go into my cave and I self-nurture. And then what happens is when I come out better than when I went in, Susana, because I didn't deny how I was feeling. So here's the thing. Having the feeling doesn't mean you don't feel the feeling, doesn't mean you don't feel the anxiety, doesn't mean you don't feel the fear. It just means you go, okay, you know, one of my favorite authors, and you gave me a gift of his, The New Earth, is Eckhart Tolle. And in his book, The Power of Now, he says the best way out of pain is through pain.
Yeah.
You feel you allow yourself to experience it and you go through the pain. So coming back to mind.
So just before you move on from that, Banks, because I think it's really important for the listeners to really acknowledge this and understand it. You know, I've been talking a lot about childhood wounds, about different woundings that we have and how they are really coming up at the moment for a lot of people, and how we deal with things when we see these patterns in our lives. They are all linked to these, you know, these wounds that we have. And all of our wounds carry a gift. Every single one of our wounds carry a gift that we can transform. But to be able to, because I checked in with you initially, and then I don't know if you noticed, but I moved away and I gave you some space, and then I checked in again. And it's because I know you're patterning as well. I know, just like you said, but the fact that you recognize that, and this is what I want the audience to get, if you can recognize your patterns, if you can know, okay, that's one of my triggers, that's one of my wounds, that's one of my patterns, how do I assist myself in moving through this in the best way for me, and thus the best way for everyone around me? That's the key, guys. So figuring that out, that is the key. Yeah. And so that is a lot of the work that I am doing, and a lot of the work that Leisha actually does with both Robin and I and anybody else that works with Leisha. But a lot of the great spiritual teachers will teach you that, because once we can identify our wounds, that's the first level of healing. And then once we can facilitate for ourselves how to move through them when they pop up, that's when they transform. And so I love that you brought that up, because I think a lot of people are dealing with exactly that right now. Things are popping up for them and they're going, how do I deal with that?
And there's a beautiful line. There's a book, the Book of Runes, Runes, rune stones, and I love my rune stones. In fact, I drew a rune stone as the world started going into chaos, and I went, shit, what are the runes telling me? And I drew my most favorite rune: transformation day, breakthrough. But in every life, there's an opportunity that comes that, if seized, will transform that life forever. This is your opportunity of transformation. And I went, what? Really? This is chaos. Well, that's how the phoenix is born from the ashes. Is that this, guys, if you can really hear me, listen to me now and hear me later. This is one of the greatest opportunities we have for personal and global transformation. This is an exciting time. It's not an easy time. It's an exciting time. Because if we really seize the opportunity, it is actually a powerful time. If you do your personal work now, you will be enriched for years and decades to come. Do the work. We are all invited to do the work. And one of the things which is relating to what you were speaking about right now, in the rune stone, one of my favorite lines from one of the runes, I can't remember, says, honor your passage into darkness. Now that might sound, my passage into darkness. Oh, wow, out of darkness, light is born. You cannot have light without darkness. Darkness is part of the journey into the light. And even in the Bible, and by the way, I'm not religious, I'm deeply spiritual. I drink freely from all wells. I love all our religions on the planet. But in the very first page of the Bible, it says, in the beginning, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and it was good. What the hell does that mean?
Darkness on the face of, I didn't hear you properly.
Darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Okay.
It's in Exodus, I think. What does it mean that in the beginning the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep? Well, what it means, Bobana, and I'm looking for one, if I can find one. Can I find one? Oh my goodness, I've been so busy.
For those of you listening, Robin calls me Bobana. Don't know
Bobana.
why, but he
Susana Bobana. Susana Bobana. Susana Bobana. So what does it mean?
I call you Banksy, so it's fine. Go.
What it means is that in the beginning, what do we have here, Susana?
We have a blank sheet of paper.
In the beginning, there was nothing. The earth was without form and void. There was nothing. And look at what it is today. Look at this magnificent creation. It started from nothing. In the beginning, according to the Bible, the earth was without form and void. It was empty. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. We had no idea of what was coming next. And it was good. Here's my favorite part. It was good. It was good. Let that sink in. Maybe this is one of the best things that's ever happened to you. I'm not saying it's easy. Maybe this is an opportunity to really, really recreate yourself. This is good. So with the mind, how we work with the mind is a great storyteller, and it loves to, and so what I'm asking you to do is reinvent the narrative. Reinvent the story you're telling yourself as you're going through this tricky time, that it's an opportunity for transformation, if you choose to see it that way. Or we can do what most of my friends are doing, because, geez, I get so many WhatsApp messages of this doctor saying that one saying this. I don't read 90% of them. I go, oh, lots of drama going on. Lots of drama. Now, is it true? Some of it is. Is it false? Some of it is. Do I need the drama? Well, I do want to know what's going on. I do want to know what's going on. So let me tap in and get a feel for the barometer of the anxiety levels and where the world is at, where the country's at. Let me tune into it, because I want to play my part in helping the transformation. I need to know where it's at. But let me not get sucked into it. Not easy, because I literally said to Nadia 3 nights ago, I said, babe, can we just stop watching the news now? I said, it's actually starting to make me feel very anxious. So I
Yeah.
switched it off. You know, it's amazing, this button. This one here goes on and off. You can choose what you want to tune into or change the channel. I've been watching Friends. Friends. I've seen it so many times, but it's so funny. I've been feeding my mind stuff that balances the experience. So for those of you interested, I've got a Mind Power webinar, which is where I'm going to be teaching Mind Power tools and techniques. It'll be on Tuesday night. It's a free webinar. It'll be from 7 to 9:30, and you can register on my email page, robinbanks.co.za. And in that, I will give you tools about how you can literally control and direct your thinking, because learning to control and direct the mind is crucial. And then the last part, because I see it is 11:30, is your soul. Take time to be still. Take time to meditate. I'm meditating twice a day, as I said to you, and I'm finding it's only something I've been doing for 2 months. And I'm just so grateful that this seeming coincidence, I've been talking about meditating on my goals. I've literally had on my goals for 5 years, meditate 20 minutes a day. And for 5 years, I meditated 20 minutes once every 3 months. Just terrible. I just never did it. It was just a goal I didn't achieve because it's so hard, you know. It's so hard to survive for 20 minutes. I achieved financial goals. I achieved physical goals. I went to the countries under it, and I just found this goal the hardest goal to achieve. And so I found that the discipline of doing transcendental meditation and giving me a structure. I need structure, and having that structure has helped me. So now I'm meditating 20 minutes twice a day. Sometimes I'll miss one session or something, but I'd say 90% of the time I'm meditating twice a day. And I can't tell you how important it is to stop the jibber jabber of the mind, to slow the thinking down, and to just be still. And you know, sometimes you can observe the stories and observe the thoughts. You and I have created a CD. You helped me create a CD called Connecting to Your Higher Purpose. And for those of you who don't know, it's a visualization journey where I take you inward. And first I ask you to visualize a golden ball of light spiraling in your center. And then you just see this golden ball of light getting stronger and stronger. And you send this golden ball of light all the way to the core of the earth. And then you drink in Mother Nature, you drink in Gaia, you drink in Earth's energy and suck it all the way up to the core. And you spiral in the center. And then you take this golden ball of light and you send it out up the top of your body, out this your head, the crown of your head, and you send it up into the stars, and you spiral in the stars. You drink in cosmic energy, and you just visualize this golden light coming from the stars. Drink it in and visualize it coming all the way back into the top of your head, back to your center. And then you send this energy through your whole body, and then you send it into the room, and then you send it into your home, and you send it into the area you live in. You're in Sea Point. You visualize this golden light spreading through Sea Point, touching people and lifting their energies. And then you send it into the whole country, into South Africa, and you send it into Africa, and then you send it into Europe and into Asia and into North America and down into South America. So you visualize the whole globe vibrating in this golden light, and you visualize your hands sending golden light into everybody on the planet. I've been doing that meditation consistently, and I feel that's how we make the difference. We live in a vibrational world. Everything is energy and vibration. Your thoughts are energy and vibration, and by sending golden healing light to people, you are making an impact. Know that. I know some of you might go, I'm not so sure about that. Well, what have you got to lose? Do it anyway. Because if you know how you can make a contribution, worry about yourself, take care of your own inner world, nurture your body, your mind, and your heart, and make sure that your soul is the one that's directing the ship. And trust that just by being still and sending out loving, healing light, that process alone is having an impact. So I'll be doing a webinar on connecting to your higher purpose. It's a free webinar next week, Thursday. Also on my website, robinbanks.co.za. You can sign up for it. We can take up to 1,000 people. In fact, And when you get it, share it. Share it with the whole world. Imagine if we all, as you were saying, imagine we're all sending golden healing light as opposed to sending stress, fear, and panic, which is what most of us are doing, which I think is just adding to the problem. It's not helping the problem. So how do you play your part? Be conscious of the energy you're putting out. Thank you, Barbana.
Thank you, Banks. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that has tuned in and listened. And I hope that you guys have gotten, I know that you will have gotten a lot out of this. The whole reason why I started this Thrive daily slot is because I do believe that we need to be the light and that it does begin with us. And if we can focus on being the light and then sharing that light with absolute love to as many people as possible, we can transform the world. And I know that you are one of my partners in, and I don't want to say in crime, but partners in light.
We are delight. I'm delighted. You are delighted
to be the partners in light and share this with the whole world. As Robin knows, I send light and love and gratitude and healing and compassion and comfort to every single person when I meditate every day. I picture it exuding out of me as well. I urge you guys to do the same. We are going to be cut off in 1 minute because I'm only allowed an hour on Instagram Live. But Banks, thank you so much. Much love and light. Much love and light, Banks.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you all soon.